like we're falling away. Maybe I just need to feel nothing to make it easier to turn away and leave. Maybe we're fanning the flame, so why do I keep holding out my hand to get burned? I don't wanna clash anymore. I can't hear the ghosts in the walls. It's telling me to run away, yeah. I don't wanna crash anymore. I can't hear the ghosts in the walls. It's telling me to run away.
Here in Monza, and it is a race opening victory for Eve. I'm still battling with Kuba.
You said you don't know me well, but I'm your angel in white. I'll be close if you come, I'll be just behind you. You're not on the list, but I can get you inside. Use your mind, listen to my voices that guide you. Give yourself over, yeah, you don't wanna fight. If you do, I'm gonna bid you a
But he's
hard
gone wide!
night.
Speedy's going
Hang on to your
incredible!
ticket, you're doing alright. And if you don't trust it, hold it up to the light. So quiet, try to hide it. If a new thought formed, we would swallow it down. Empty stares, never question the illusion. If you play alone, they will leave you to drown. Stand up, 'cause we are the movement. Don't stop, straight into the dark. Wake up, 'cause this is the moment, and every fire starts with a spark. A revolution. Stand up, 'cause we are the movement. Don't stop, straight into the dark. Wake up, 'cause this is the moment, and every fire starts with a spark. A revolution.
Hello, and welcome back to FRLT Season 6. And it's time once again for assists this season. It is round number 10, and this week we come to Las Vegas. 6.120 kilometers, 3.803 miles, 17 turns, 2 DRS zones down. The first small straight, and then that long back straight, and the main straight it is as well, from turn 12 all the way down to turn number 14. No real elevation on the track. It's pretty much just entirely flat. So that is that. Looking at the calendar, we did the qualifiers, of course, at the start of November. We've made our way through China, Austria, Imola, Great Britain, Australia, Singapore, Monza, Brazil, Netherlands, Las Vegas, and Japan. So we've gone through there, but we've coming to Las Vegas this week. We do have Japan still left to go next week, of course, on the 11th. We still have another race to go, which is interesting. It's interesting. It's great to have still another race left. Looking at the standings, it's even more interesting there. AZR, a 1-2 finish last week led to them having an incredible finish, the one and only team so far this season to have a 1-2 finish, 10 out of 10 weekend, and leading the Constructors' Championship only by 3 points ahead of SCT, who sits second. OMB had a tough week and dropped down to third in the Constructors, while LR are fourth after having a bit of a swap round with SCT, dropping down to fourth in the Constructors from their third place, the lowest they've been this season. AERT pull above the 100-point barrier to 108 points, as SKG also taking another small points finish. So looking at that, it's pretty interesting in the sort of top 6. UFRT, it's pretty miserable for all the three teams below that. Did not start from Ace and ART, while UFRT also had a double DNF last week as well, as they sit on 50 points in the championship. TTN make a good finish, double points, and bring themselves up to 8 points in the championship. At this rate, they will overtake ART at least for 9th in the Constructors' Championship. So that is everything. We should be getting going in the next few moments. We should actually be getting going. But yeah, very interesting when you look at the standings, when you look at the calendar. You know, we've gone through now 9 races this season, and we've still seen a sort of from some teams a bit of a failure to really capture any race. TMS, previously known as TMS, now ART, they started off all right, and they've gone a couple of races now without any points finishes. I mean, we've seen a lot of stuff in recent weeks. Of course, there's been a lot of stuff in recent weeks that has led to all of it. You also look at another thing. Another pretty big thing that I think we've noticed is that it's very even. Across the sort of top 6, they very much dominated the points. Even just the top 5, they very much dominated the points. You know, 5th having 108 points so far this season in just 9 races. And then when you look at everybody below that, you've got SKG on 78 points, the defending champions, the reigning champions of assists on just 78 points and down 6th in the Constructors. 7th, of course, you've got UFRT. They sit on 50 points. Their best season ever in FRLT assists, but still only 50 points. And then you've got the sort of bottom 3 who are all sort of sitting around that sort of 35 points, 13 points, and 8 points. You know, you've got 21 points. You've got 56 points between the bottom 3 teams, which make it 106 between the bottom 4 teams, including UFRT. And then, of course, on top of the extra 78, 184 points between just the top, between the bottom 5. Make it strange, I think, to be honest. I think it makes it very strange for, teams at the moment. Is that, of course, sort of just low level of sort of points so far. But yeah, but we are finally into qualifying once it eventually decides to load. Here we are for qualifying. We've already got a car out on track, and that is Alexander Weigold. He's out first this evening. Alexander looking for a good finish. SET looking to come back a bit in this championship. Second. Of course, last season they finished third in the Constructors' Championship. Of course, earlier in the season we had 5 teams. But yeah, SET 3 points behind the championship leaders. They're just hanging in there at the moment. You know, they're hanging in on that sort of 141 points, 3 points behind the Constructors' Championship leaders. They need a good finish again this evening. The P4, P5 finish last week, 21 points, really helped them out. They would have had the championship lead if AZR didn't get a P1 and P2 finish. They would have had the championship lead for the first time this season, but SET still without the championship lead so far ever in FRLT assists. But into turn 1 goes Alexander. Through turn 1, he's got to get the car really turned in. You see a bit of understeer kicking into the car, taking a tighter line through turn 2 though, as he now makes his way down towards turn number 3. Only 3 corners in this first sector. Most of this first sector is just straight. Just strange enough, but through turn 3. And it's going to be a 25.990 for the first sector, which actually isn't too bad, because he's taking a bit of a different line, going a bit tight. He's definitely choosing to take the tighter line round the track. You really using the curves to rotate the car. Heading down this curve straight through the right, through the left he goes, braking hard into the left-hander, over the curb, missing out on the wall. And heading down the main straight now with the DRS. Of course, the DRS zone getting shorter and shorter every single year on the game. Now into the final chicane. 3 corners stuck within about 100-meter radius of each other. And there we go. That is through those 3 corners. Up to now the final corner goes Alexander Weigold as he makes his way round and across the line. It's a 1 minute 30.325 for the first lap time of the evening. We're waiting to see who's next. That is OMB Zetany. Zetany comes across the line, 1 minute 30.159. Archar goes P3. Tallow and King MP go P5 and P6. Hasho just gets in between the SETs in the end. Alex Chavez, OMB, 131 points, 13 points behind the championship leaders of AZR. They're 1-2 now, and this is exactly what they need to bring themselves back up into the championship. We see Yannick going into P3 there. So Yannick, Marco goes P5, LWB goes P6. See quite a few lap times popping up here and there. Slow from Jake across the line, 1 minute 30.7. ART getting in their debut after their rebrand. James comes across. Panos is disconnected, sadly. Bit of disappointment there, but OMB 1-2 in these first runs, and I've got to say, convincingly ahead, over a 10th ahead with Zetany, and again, about another 700ths ahead. Alex O'Shannon is ahead of his teammate, another 700ths of a second, so another decent jump. LK retires, of course. He has a qualifying ban. LR serving their qualifying ban this week rather than next week because they have 8 penalty points, which do need to be settled The only way you can actually settle your points, you have to have a minimum of 8, and then you have to take a qualifying ban. You're able to take that. Nobody's actually hit that amount of a qualifying ban yet this season, except LR. They're the only team out of both assists and no assists to actually reach 8 penalty points. I think the closest is then no assists on 5 penalty points. I can't remember which team it is. Yeah, I think that's be rather interesting. I think for me that's the really interesting one. For me is the the sort of penalty points this season, bringing in penalty points. Look at that. Last season we wouldn't have had that. It would have just been they would have had both cars qualifying, but they've just not been able to get it, and that's the problem. That's been the real problem this season. I can't lie. It's very much been the real problem. But it's the way it goes. As Youssef goes slowest of all. Not great. If I'm being honest, I do have to sadly invite a driver. Some drivers I'm getting their friend requests through. Some drivers I'm not. I'm not sure why. Jake is on another fast lap, I do believe. Making his way around. He's pushing hard on his lap. He's gone with that overfuel. Of course, he's done a 30.7, so he improves by a 10th. He will go all the way up to P7, so he will find a bit more time. But Jake making his way round through to the end of the middle sector now. He's P10 on the grid. ART not having the best debuts. He's 74 thousandths of a second down on his previous best, so he's struggling slightly. Even the low amount of fuel isn't helping him out here tonight. But I've got to say, OMB look very certain that they want to take a sort of AZR class finish. We know OMB have a 1-2 finish before. We know they actually have a Grand Slam in FRLT going back to Belgium in Season 5. I think that was round 2 of the season. They ultimately took a Grand Slam and they took a 1-2 finish, which was absolutely dominant, led every lap. Nobody could beat them. They're one of very few teams. They did that in no assists, though. They didn't do that in assists. They did it in no assists last season. They're the only team... I think the only team on this grid to actually do that. No, I don't believe any other team has actually gotten a 1-2 finish in assists. And dominantly sort of done it like that with leading every lap, pole, just absolutely everything. I don't think anybody else has actually been able to do that. Yeah. Aiden Evans making his way round on his lap. See in that Sauber. Brightly green Sauber. And across the line, Aiden Evans goes P3 and into a 30.166. Still, just over 800ths, just about 800ths of a second behind. And P3 it is, though. And to be fair, I think he'd be taking that. See Yannick's improving as well. He's found a 10th in the first sector alone. Looking around, who's next? That's Alexander Weigold. I think it's King MP, improved by a quarter of a second at the moment, so he's finding a huge amount of time in his lap as he makes his way down towards the final corner. Let's see what he can do. And King MP goes onto the front row. UFRT might be back in this evening. They might very much be back in this because he has gone to a 1 minute 30.097. Could 6th in the championship be a possible chance? Could it be a chance for UFRT? Might they be able to pull it back in these last 2 races? Who knows? And yeah, that might be a penalty. That might be a penalty. Alexander Weigold making his way around. I think we've then got Marco. He's going quite quickly. What can he do for a lap time? And across the line, he goes. P3. Just missing out on the 0.0, but he's really closed up the gap. The grid getting a lot closer now. I think there's definitely some time in it for a couple of people. Youssef is just about to start a lap, and I think it's Alexander Weigold who is improving on his lap. He's making his way around. I think Yannick, by the way, invalidated, so that's why he's not been able to go quicker. And across the line, it's going to be provisional pole from Alexander Weigold to a 1 minute 29.984. It's a new fastest time. I didn't think we'd be seeing a time that quick this evening. King James has failed to complete his lap as Tallow makes his way around now. He's P11. He needs a decent improvement. He improves by 0.3 and goes to P9. Improvement he was looking for. Here comes Alex Ashanez, who's not improved massively, 0.02 of a second. And across the line, Alex Ashanez takes pole by just 100th of a second. It's not much, but it is still something for himself. I've got to say, it's still better than absolutely nothing. And he's going to be taking that quite nicely. LWB making his way around. He's improved by a 10th in the middle sector. Across the line, improves by almost 1.5 of a second and goes P7 ahead of Yannick. Look at that. Yannick's gone from P3 down to P8 already. Just from missing one run. That just shows how close it really is. 100th of a second splitting first and second at the moment. But it is still that Alex Ashanez who holds on to that provisional pole. He still goes fastest of all. His teammate, a bit further behind though, has dropped a bit of time, but not a lot. Not a lot indeed. His teammate did improve, but only by about, my count, it's about 29 thousandths of a second. So it was not a big improvement from his teammate Zetany. No big improvement from Zetany, but Panos Veras is making his way around. He hasn't set a lap time yet. He's the only driver yet to set a lap time, except LK, of course, but he has a qualifying ban, so he's not allowed to. So for everybody who could, Panos is the last one. Panos has shown he can perform in the past in assists. But the big, this track is very much, I think, one track that everybody's sort of, I see a lot of people that mention it's either a track you're very good at or you're very bad at. There's no middle. So that could be an interesting thing to see. I'd say definitely would be quite an interesting thing to see. Panos making his way down the main straight now, opening the rear wing with the DRS. Just see how long that straight is, pretty much going across the entire length of the track. That's how long it is. You can't even see to the end of it. Heading round towards the final corner and towards the line. He moves over and he decides to dive into the pits. He does not feel like it is right for him. 4 minutes to go on the clock. Still some time. By the way, ART Jake, P7. He found a lot of time in that. With his lap, we missed that sadly, but still P7. ART coming quite well here to be on for some decent points. They've currently got 8 points in their. They've got 13 points at the moment in their championship after 9 races. So going into round 10, at the moment, I think 7 points would look quite nice for themselves. Everybody is in the pit lane. Nobody's out. Just going to watch them here. We do have a car coming out very shortly. That is a Haas on the way out. I think that is, yes, that is King MP. He's going to be the first of the drivers to do their final runs with about 3 minutes and 5 seconds left on the clock as Baptiste Van Koy jumps in for AZR just in time. He just joins it in time, but King MP has gone out rather early. So my worry is that he's going to get caught in traffic, as I think we're seeing an OMB come out. We're starting to see a few drivers just kind of trickle out of the pit lane, just slowly exit. We've got we've got an OMB, and I think we have both AERTs also on their way out, followed by another OMB. So a couple more drivers are coming out, and luckily he's only about halfway around the track at the moment, so he's still got a bit further to. He's still got quite a bit further, but he's going to be hoping that nobody else comes out. Baptiste Van Koy has just joined in. He does have a qualifying ban, but he can do an out lap. So he's just got to load up his setup and go around the track once, which he should be able to do. But King MP making his way down the back straight now. He's going to really want to make this back straight as long as he can. He's going to want to wait just as long as he can as well, because at the moment, still 3 drivers in the pit lane. That's about to come down to 1, and that is just Baptiste Van Koy, who has the qualifying ban. But he's been able. What's good here is King MP has been able to put a bit of space between himself and everyone else, but he has just cut a corner. Interesting. But let's ride on board with King MP on his final lap for the final time of the evening. Down towards turn 1 with 1 minute 30 on the clock, as King MP makes his way around the first corner, really trying to get the steering right. Now heading down the straight with the DRS, using the battery, getting all of the straight line speed you can. You can see reaching 210 miles per hour before hitting the brakes at the 100 meters down into turn 3. Sector 1 is an improvement from himself. It is an improvement. It's 73 thousandths of a second. He's not going to improve his position, but it's so far a very good improvement in Sector 1, and an improvement he needed to find. Will UFRT be looking at their best finish of the season? They, of course, got a podium last season in Season 5 in Saudi Arabia. This season, is it going to be Las Vegas that they take another podium? I think they've pretty much gotten 1 podium a season. From what I remember, they've pretty much been getting a podium every season. Oh, and a massive slide and a massive mistake from King MP. He's lost all that time. He's lost over 1/10 of a second. Look at this. He's holding on to tallow, though, which is not allowed. Oh, my God. Why are they giving slipstream? Oh, my God. Down towards the final chicane, but that anyway is going to lead to a qualifying bans for UFRT next week. Oh my God, why the one thing that I've mentioned throughout pretty much every season: do not slipstream. It's very simple. Oh, Hasho's out. Hasho's crashed. He's out, and Kingpin doesn't improve anyway, but still he's out. Zettany is coming up to the line next. They're quite spaced out here actually, except the final couple of drivers, but Hasho has crashed, so he's going to stay P12. He might drop down, but there's no chance of improvement for 1 AERT. But here comes Zettany up to the line and across the line. He doesn't improve. He goes slower at the line. Marco is improving in his middle sector, but can he improve when he crosses the line? Yes, he can. He goes P3 ahead of King MP. That's exactly the lap he needed. Yannick is coming around next. We've got to see what can the LR driver do. LR needs this. If they don't get a good finish tonight, LR will probably lose out their chance on the championship. And across the line, Yannick! Fastest of all, 1 minute 29.7. Archer goes P10. Alex Chanes improves but stays P2. He's not able to beat Yannick's lap time, as we see Panos go P11. And I think it's then LWB who goes across the line in P9, and I think we've just seen that is Alexander Weigold who goes onto the front row for SCT, and a strong lap. Jake! ART Jake crosses the line in P5. His teammate crosses the line in P14. Only Tallow left. Tallow isn't improving in the middle sector, but UFRT going to be suffering a double qualifying ban if it gets reported for next week. But it is Yannick on pole. LR pull themselves back up into the conversation about championship. At the moment, 4 of the top 5 teams have at least one driver in that top 4. LR, SCT, OMB, and AERT. But the only one who's lacking a driver inside of that even top 5 is AZR, P8 and P16 with Aiden Evans and Baptiste Van Koy. My worry with that now for AZR is, you look at the points. P8, 6 points, but P16, no points. So, only 8 points for AZR, bring them to 152 points. LR's going to take God knows how many, but we'll have to wait and see. So it is Yannick on pole, followed by Alexander Weigold, Alex Ashanes, Marco, Jake, King MP, Zetany, Aiden Evans, LWB, Archer, Panos, Tallow, Hasho, King James, Youssef, Batiste, and LK with his qualifying ban. Both these final drivers with qualifying bans. But for the moment, for LR, they're gaining 18 points. And it's also good points for SET. They take the lead of the Constructors' Championship as it would stand. They just take the lead of the championship. While I think OMB would actually pull themselves up into second in the championship still. So we're going to be waiting to see how that goes. But there's a lot around it. There's a lot around it, I will say. There's a lot of chance around it. But we got a bit of time beforehand. We got a bit of time. I think the tough one there. I think Zetany maybe let down. I think OMB a little bit there. P3, P7. Not great. But who knows? It's going to be tough. I think we're going to have to see. Because I think SET, at the moment, they're definitely favourites. I don't think winning-wise, I think they're similar to OMB. But I think AZR are very much out of today. They've shown in qualifying, I know they have Batiste Van Kooyen, but with Aiden Evans, I think they've shown a bit today that they're not in that battle for the win. They're not in that sort of, based off of pace, they don't look like they're in that battle for the win. So that, I think they've got a quite high chance today to not not lead the championship into the final race. I think SET are in a prime position, same as OMB. I think at the moment, from my sort of working out the championship in my head, it's currently is just off the top of my head, it is going to be SET who lead currently into the final race of the season, followed by OMB in second. So who knows? It's gonna be interesting to see. I think it is going to be very interesting to see. I mean, you look at this race, and I'm looking at this race, and I'm like, this could be the definitive race where we see at least one team knocked out of the Constructors. We could see all four go into the final race and still have a chance. That looks quite possible with AZR struggling, looking like they're currently on only for 6 points, so going to 150, sorry, not 8 points, going to 150 points after this race, you know, as it stands where they are. SCT taking the lead of the Constructors, OMB set to take second in the Constructors. So they're looking very strong there at the moment. So we've kind of got at least 3 Constructors will stay in it. Depends on if LR win, they can stay in the Constructors Championship, but there'll be a bit of a drift. There'll be sort of a drift from the leaders. Do I think that means they're going to win? I think very much if they don't gain on, I think if they don't get into, I'd say, third in the Constructors, if they don't get ahead of AZR and they don't pull it together, they won't do it. And here we are. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go here in FRLT Season 6. Round number 10 of assists in Las Vegas. And it's a good getaway from Yannick. But even better from Alexander Weigold. Side by side through turn 1. And now into turn 2. Who is going to take the lead? Yannick has the inside. Alexander on the outside. Look at it, still side by side as they head down the next straight. Ultimately, Yannick just gets in front. Alex Ashanes pushing hard. Is he going to take the lead? Is he going to dive it down the inside? No, he pulls back into third place. Falling back behind, not wanting to risk his championship at all. Now, looking around, Jake has also had a good start. He's gotten ahead of Marco right away there. And that is a perfect start for himself. Panos as well, battling with Tallow over P10. Tallow takes P10 from Panos Verez. But still, looking at this, for SKG, it's a decent points finish, but it's still not where they want to be. The reigning champions still will be down in 6th, and ultimately might find themselves being stuck in 6th, not being able to be caught or overtaken by anyone else, depending on how UFRT continue to do. Is that damage on King MP? That's my question. Is there damage on King MP's car? No, it just looked like there was damage there. Still, Yannick leads away. Bit of a shaky start going into turn 1 with Alexander Weigold right on the back of him. And still right on the back of the McLaren. But for Yannick, he still leads away. And for LR, it's not just leading away, it's holding on to the championship. But also, I want to say Aiden Evans also had a horrific start. They're down to 15th. AZR out of the points. And currently could be finding themselves out of a championship if SET, LR and OMB keep going the way they're going, because Zetany also gained a place, so that's an extra point for OMB this evening, counting themselves 1 point closer to the championship lead. It's not big, but it might help. Baptiste Van Koy just makes up his place for 14th as he gets ahead of Yusuf. He's now chasing the edge of the points, but he's got championship rivals LR and specifically the man of LK in front of him next. This is going to get, I think, quite interesting between LK and Baptiste Van Koy. Is Baptiste going to be aggressive like we've seen, or are we going to see LK also show the same level of aggression? We know occasionally AZR, and especially so if we've seen Baptiste Van Koy sometimes be thrown off by another driver kind of being just as aggressive as him when it comes down to defending. He's had a problem or two this season with that, so we'll have to wait and see whether Baptiste will be able to overcome this problem or whether he's going to have to sit in behind. Still, in 14th and outside of the points, it's not been a good first 2 laps for them, but Alexander Weigold takes the lead in Las Vegas. He just gets in front of Yannick there, and that isn't the worst, and luckily everybody's still all within DRS. So, for many, it's not too bad. For Zetany, it's not going good for him, though. In P6, he's starting to fall a little bit behind Marco in time. Same for Marco. He's also falling behind Jake a bit. Don't forget Jake in all of this. He's still holding on to that top 3. So, could we see a new team take a podium this season? I mean, at the moment, 11 points for ART. I think they'd very much call that commendable. And I mean, 11 points, almost doubling their championship, going up to 24 points, pretty much means TTN most likely won't catch up to them in the constructors. So 9th is at least safe, but could they potentially take 8th as well? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Just see, he's getting very close to the back of Alex Ashanes here, but it's all about, with this track especially, you've got to remember, it's all about managing your tyres, not pushing too much, not overcooking the tyres, not trying to sort of be harsh on your tyres. But I can see why he's trying to get past Alex Ashanes, because he is dropping a little bit behind from the leaders, maybe just trying to cool his engine down slightly. But look at this, a move further back, Archer, well, SET gain a place in the lead. They're going to lose a point further back with their second driver, Archer, as he now drops down to P9. Another point lost for SET. They gain 3, they lose 1, but still, it's a positive start for SET altogether, and the championship lead, remember. Even with that, still the championship lead, 23 points is what you need. It's 23 points in the end, you know. But look at this. LWB, he's really pressuring some drivers. He's now pressuring King MP. He's really putting on that pressure to a lot of the drivers around the outside. King MP is able to just hold on to it there. He's able to just keep ahead. Is he going to be able to keep ahead into the next corner? Switching, and he's kept that quite central line. So good defense from King MP there. He's been able to hold on to that. We can see here that also we've seen that the sort of front guys slow down a bit because Zetany's closed back up. And he's also, whoa, a big slide there for him. But he's also sort of right close to Marco. So I think we might be seeing OMB and Zettini push for P5 and get a double top 5 finish and 23 points. They jump up to, I mean, 23 points is exactly what you want to have. Realistically, you know, a lot of people, you know, this season have struggled to get their teams into the, you know, into a double top 5 position, but we might be seeing that this evening. But look at this, Yannick pushing Alexander Weigold once again. I think very much Alex Ashanes is just letting the top two pressure each other. I think that's very much what we're seeing at the moment, is just the top two pressuring each other down into the next corner, side by side, between Alexander Weigold and Yannick. But ultimately, Yannick's actually come away quite poorly there off of the exit. Are we going to see Alex Ashanes go for the move? No, he's not. He's going to hang back. But I think Yannick wants that lead, and he's going to keep battling for it. Doesn't go for the move. He doesn't want to risk it. But whoa, massive slide for Yannick, which ultimately makes Alex Ashanes also slide off of the exit of turn 1. So that's quite interesting to see, just kind of the sort of, almost like a slinky. Down the inside goes Jake. He looks for a quite opportunistic, and I don't think he was expecting to actually try to make a move. Tallow now. Battling with R10 for position around the outside. Oh my god, look at that! What a move from Tallow up to P9. And I have to say, that is one of the best moves I have seen all season long. I cannot tell you how brilliant that move looked. But again, for SCT, that's another point lost. And now they've only really gained 1 point. Oh! And in the wall again for Hasho this evening. We saw it in qualifying. He DNF'd into that wall, and he's hit that wall again. He drops down to P12. But now, here comes everyone else. And it looks like Archar might be under a lot of attack from other drivers, because Panos and Hasho have gotten past the SCT driver. So now, down to just 2 points. Another 2 points lost. They're on a deficit now. It's 18 points. They're down to 20 points now this evening. So SCT slowly losing their championship at the moment, very slowly, as SKG really are being opportunistic with trying to bolster their championship and at least claim a decent 6th in the constructors. But they're battling with UFRT, of course, over that. UFRT looking like they're having a late season push, like last season, like in season 5 as well. We saw them having a late season push, but a bit of a moment there for LWB. Oh, it's Archer! He's half spins, and that leaves him down and out of the points, and he's far behind. He's going to be hoping he can bring himself back up into the race now. He's really got to do a lot. 2 seconds off a pack, and sometimes that can be very difficult to gain back, because also Aiden Evans is a further 1.5 seconds off of his teammate in front. So there's a long and massive amount of time to find. But for SCT, they're down to just 18 points tonight, as opposed to what they were looking at earlier of about 23. So they've lost 5 points in their championship. And so they, you know, it's a big loss. Down to 159 points tonight is where they'd be. LWB takes P7, and there goes Alexander Weigold, who again takes position. But look at this, a little bit of battling between King MP and Tallow. Tallow's been able to make his way through the pack quite nicely, while King MP's just kind of sat around this P7, P8 position. And look at this again, more battling for the lead. Look at this, 3 wide. Are we going to see 3 wide into turn 1? No, we're not, but look at this. Whoa! Into the back goes Alex Ashanes. Is he just getting a bit too greedy on the throttle and trying to gain position when it wasn't his? It very much looked like that. Look at this. He's all over the back of the ART. And it's just a mistake again. He's just not been able to pressure, but he's going around the outside of the AERT driver. He's trying to catch him out. So far, ART Jake takes P3 and really has actually, I'd say, caught Alex Ashanes off guard there with a very solid defense. As now we watch on again, I think we'll be seeing Yannick, Alexander Weigold, Jake, and Alex Ashanes go for a battle again. This has actually grouped everyone back together. There was a second gap between 6th and 7th in this race. And now that's come back down. Alex Ashanes pressuring early. He's pressuring. Down into the next corner. He's blocked off by the drivers in front. He's trying to go around the outside. Can he do it? Yes, he can. He takes P3 back in this race. And there's been a bit of a moment for Yannick there. He's shaking his car, saying don't go for the move. But Alex Ashanes might feel differently. Look at this. Alexander Weigold. He's right behind. He's looking for the move. He's not going to get it. And look at this. Zettany now battling with Jake. Because Jake has just been overtaken by Marco as well. So Jake has lost out quite a bit there. 2 places lost in just a matter of a couple of 100 meters. Not too good for Jake at all. But Zettany still sitting in this P6 position. He's kind of been unable to make a move. He's just had his sort of second closest attempt. But still unable to get anywhere. Aiden Evans still down in P15 in this race. He's not really been able to make a lot. And that is a spin for Youssef. And sadly for TTN, it's another tough evening. But for AZR, they're looking at the same level of evening. Because look at this. Baptiste Van Koy, P12, 2 points for AZR. Bring them to 146. Points-wise, at the moment, SET would take 18 and would jump to 159 points in the Constructors' Championship. I have a quick look at tyres as well. Everybody's on the same except Hasho. And then everybody else has stopped for hard tyres. But for AZR, two points is not a lot. Hasho, by the way, getting past both UFRT drivers up to P8 in this race. But look at that. King MP. Whoa, that is very, very close. Now heading down once again. You could just see Hasho has the tyre advantage. And oh, and somebody just jumped into the pits quite late. I'm not sure who that was. At all. I have no clue who that was. Who was that? Who jumped in the pits? Was it LWB that jumped in the pits very late? Or was it King MP? I think it was King MP that jumped in incredibly late. Tyre change. Baptiste Van Koy comes in as well for the hard tyres. He's going to just get in front of LK. But it's been very slow progress. Look at this. Side by side between both AZRs. P12 and P13. Aiden Evans does gain a place. He does get from P14 to P12. He does gain 2 places. 1 ahead of his teammate and 1 ahead of LK. But realistically, I think AZR are going to have to take a tough evening. 3 points at the moment, up to 147 points in the Constructors. We know that LR is going to gain at least 18 tonight. So 18 points from LR as it stands. You know, plus the pole brings them to 148. They just jump AZR. SET is on their way to get, you know, some. But even if we said 15 points, that would take them to 156 and a solid 9 points ahead of them. And OMB on for 13 points and another 9 with Zettany. As now here they come. They're all coming in, all flying into the pit lane. While Yannick follows. Jake now takes the lead of the race. And ART get their first couple of laps leading. Let's see, can they get a lap under their belt? They're pretty far in front, but how much time have they lost? Alex Ashanes straight onto the hard tyres. Not a bad stop. He's had to wait a second or two. But look at this. Look at where these guys have actually come out. Alex Ashanes and Zettany have come out right next to each other, and that's the worst thing. 8 points and another 7 points. 15 points for OMB would bring them to 100 and I think it's 146. AZR have gained some places, but it's getting pretty rowdy further back. Panos is quite quick. He's proven he's quite quick. LK hasn't been as quick this evening. But the main thing now is Aiden Evans, 1.7 seconds behind. He's not really catching up to the guys in front. Not enough. as he drains through his battery. He's not been catching at all enough in this race. He's not been quick enough on those medium tyres. I doubt he'll be quick enough on the hard sets of tyres, on the hard compound. He's got his teammate there for teamwork, but even then, it's going to be quite tough when the drivers in front have DRS and just you don't. You don't have DRS, you don't have slipstream. You could just see the gap 1.6, 1.7 before his teammate finally gets past him. Yannick behind Alexander Weigold. I will say AZR's gained a bit of time, but they're also still sitting roughly about the same. They have a chance to catch, but that's if they had DRS, but in this case they don't. Baptiste Van Koy can now be let to run free in this race. But look at this. For OMB, it's worked out perfectly. P4, P5, 21 points on the table for them now. Still with Hasho to pit, so 13 and 11. So 24 points brings them to 155 points. And ultimately puts them essentially 1 point behind. I think it would be 3 points behind SCT at the moment. Where if Alexander Weigold was to win, put them just 3 points behind. But if he does not win, if Alexander Weigold doesn't win and finish second, it is OMB leading into round 11, into Japan in the final race. And Japan, as we all know, is the most important, it's probably one of the most important tracks for position, because it's all about, it is very much all about qualifying and track position. It's not about anything else. So we'll have to see how that works out. Zetny losing a bit of time on his teammate this lap. He's had a bit of a struggle. He's still got DRS, just kind of a little bit in no man's land, a little bit further back as Yannick now takes the lead of the race. Alex Achanez closes right up to the back. You can see Baptiste Van Koy has just jumped below, has just gone below that second sort of margin, but he's sitting along that sort of second away at the moment. Is he going to get DRS this lap? No, he doesn't. He's completely out of battery. You can just see how much time he's dropping because he's out of battery. It's really the UFRTs that have lost a lot of time here on the hard tyres. 13th and 14th now. Hasho's still yet to pit. Is there anyone else yet to pit in this race? No. The UFRT have just completely lost the plot on the strategy. 1 point from scoring, from scoring what would look like 12 points to now scoring 1. It's been a pretty tough evening, I think, for them, and the strategy just has not worked for them at all. And still, we see Baptiste Van Koy sitting around this second behind. He's trying to get within that second. He's sitting on that 9/10. He is going to get within a second this time around. But it's still the thing of he's still so far back. It is not terrible points. It's still 9 points, and it still brings AZR to 153. It still brings them to 153, but that's still going to be third in the constructors, just 5 points behind the championship leaders. As now Baptiste Van Koy gets overtaken by his teammate, but he's had a bit of an issue here because he's also been overtaken by LK. Championship rivals LR and LK have just gotten in front, and here comes Panos as well. We know Panos has been quite quick, and there goes Panos up into P11. Another position gained. But this is exactly what OMB and sort of LR's, are sort of wanting here. They want the battling, delay sort of AZR from getting any further, and I think that's what we're seeing with LK here, is just trying to get in front, trying to delay a bit. And here comes LK down the inside of Aiden Evans. Aiden Evans pushed out completely pushed out there, completely pushed out, completely and utterly pushed out by his by both LK and Panos. And that's an awful moment we've just seen for AZR. They now drop down to just 5 points as opposed to the 9 points. They've just dropped 4 points in a single moment. AZR just can't seem to get tonight right. in such an important race like this, a championship, potentially championship deciding race, to have a moment like they've just had, to drop a potential chance at the championship and holding the lead of the championship, it's devastating, especially this late in the season. To have a bad race this late in the season just leads to problems, and it's clearly leading a problem to for the man of Aiden Evans, because he's just been overtaken by Tallow as well. So that's another point drop down to 4 points for AZR this evening. Oh my god. Are we watching? Please tell me in the chat. Are we watching AZR have their championship broken and destroyed in the penultimate race? Are we seeing them having their championship destroyed in the second to last race of the season in Las Vegas? Because there goes Aiden Evans again. He's battling with King MP, leaving space there. This is an awful camera, but King MP gets in front, and now another point lost in just 3 points for AZR. What is happening to AZR this race? Championship defining moment. I think we can all agree this is a championship defining moment, and one driver's in the points, the other's struggling. 3 points up to 147 points in 10 races, 14.7 as an average, and they could be dropping down, as it stands, to 4th in the Constructors with 1 race to go. Honestly, unless AZR get a 1-2 finish, or some double top 5 finish in Japan, they will not win this championship, as it stands. There's no way they could win this championship. Tallow is also caught up to the back of Baptiste Van Koy. So is this the sort of, are we seeing AZR for another season? Remember, this is their 4th season in FRLT assists. 4th season they've raced from season 3 to season 6. Are we seeing them for a 4th time, and possibly this could be the most painful, not win the championship? I know Ethan. I know Baptiste had a qualifying ban, and I know Aiden Evans, and Aiden's on a qualifying setup, but sadly, the race doesn't lie. I think even you can agree with me here, Ethan. The race doesn't lie. And, Ethan, can I just ask you something? What was that about being in the interviews? About interviewing you both times this week? Yeah, let me know on that. Yeah, Baptiste in a difficult position here. I think very much all the pressure's on him now. I think it's fair to say that all the pressure is on Baptiste to get this P9 finish now. At least take 5 points away from the evening. I don't think he's going to get any more than that in these last 10 laps, unless somebody has a mega moment. I don't think we're going to see it. We know Hasho still has to come in, and Hasho isn't coming in yet. He's still going longer and longer on his tyres, even though people have caught up to him now. But I think this is very much the point where you've got to go for AZR. They've got to switch something up now. They've got to do an undercut. They've got to try anything, because being stuck in P11, losing time to P8, over 2 seconds behind from their leading car in their group, this just leaves them this sort of problem that we're probably going to see Tallow at some point overtake as well for P12. We know Hasho still has to come in. So if Hasho also comes in with a really big undercut on the second stop, is it going to be a 2-stop? Is it going to be a 2-stop from, in this race? If it is a 2-stop, we got some big questions here now, if it is really a 2-stop. Honestly, if it is a 2-stop, we might be seeing these teams have a moment. But look at this. Yannick has been caught napping behind Hasho. He's just completely been caught napping behind Hasho. Here comes everybody. They're absolutely attacking Hasho with everything they've got. But look at Hasho. He's still battling. He's still battling to lead this race, down into the next corner. Are we going to see some sort of massive collision? No, we're not. Oh my god. That was a bit close. But look at this. Here comes Alexander Weigold. He's trying to get past. But Alex Ashanes goes round Alexander Weigold. Whoa! Incredibly aggressive from Alexander there. Into the next corner. Zettini gets the position. Whoa! Contact between the two. Zettini, can he hold on to the position? Yes, he does. And he gets ahead of Alexander Weigold. And that could be the championship lead we're talking about. Going into Japan. Down the inside goes Zettini. He's going to make the move. He doesn't care. He's going to make it. Oh! In the wall! He's in the wall. He's gone. He's in the wall. It all falls apart in the last few moments. And I don't think either driver is going to be particularly happy with that. And I think especially OMB. Is there damage to the Aston Martin? This is the question. There doesn't look like there's any damage. So he might have just gotten away there by hitting his tyre. He might have just gotten away. But now it is very much going to be a close moment because Alexander Weigold is out of that second range. And so now it is up between Yannick and Alex Ashanes, OMB or LR, to win in Las Vegas. And at the moment, I don't know who I'd put my money on going into these final 8 laps of the race. But massive moment for Zettini. He's now got to just reclaim all of this in his race. He's got a chance. He can do it. He knows he's quicker than Batiste. He knows he's quicker than Panos and LK and LWB. He knows he's at least 5th. So very interesting to see, I'd say. Very, very interesting. Jake now making the move on Alexander Weigold. He's trying to make that move. Are we just seeing Alexander really struggle in his hard tyres now? Going very deep from Jake. Is he going to hold on to that P3? Not for now. Is he going to switch it back? Is he going to look for a move? No, he's not. But more time lost for Alexander Weigold. Another 8/10 in the last lap. But who knows? Very, very interesting. But now it's all up to Alex Ashanes at OMB to reclaim the points at least. Bring them to 18 points in their race. If it's a win for OMB and even P9, still 23 points is the points that OMB will walk away. 23 is not bad, but they are coming up for 10 laps on these hard tyres. So how much longer will these hard tyres last? Are we going to see a quick change, or are we going to see them go to the end of the race on these tyres? Let me know what you think. I know, Ethan. I know you'd think it was a dirty move. I know you would. But look at this. Panos is not letting Baptiste Van Koy get past with so much ease, I don't think. And look at that. Oh my god! The dive bomb! The dive bomb of all dive bombs. Oh my god. We have just seen an ungodly level of dive bomb. But here comes Zettini. Is he going to try and catch in on this conflict? Yes, he will. And especially against championship rivals AZR. Look at this. It's all popping off here. Between P7 and P8 in this race. Around the outside is what Baptiste Van Koy is trying to do. Can he get it? Yes, he can. And up to P7 he goes. And that is a position made up. And that is a position he needed to make in this race. Still, it's all to play for. LK, though, he's pulling in the points for LR tonight. It looks like LR might be walking away with the most points out of any team. I mean, honestly, if they walk away with 18 points and another 8, 26 points. Sorry, 27 points with pole. It's not bad to walk away with for them. Bring themselves really back into championship contention up to 156 points. I think that would land them in the lead of the championship. With one race to go. I mean, we're looking at the top 4 being split by sort of 5 points here. So, honestly, I don't know how this is going to go. We're going to have to wait to see because, of course, we've still got Alex Ashanes there who could, you know, go and take the lead of the race and win. You know, we've still got that. We've still got Jake there, past Alexander Weigold. We've still got the drivers like Panos and Zettini in there who want to make some moves very soon. You know, there's still a lot of maybes, ifs, you know, sort of maybes and ifs in there. There's a lot of That's still sitting around going into these last couple of laps. But one thing that's not an if is whether Aiden Evans is going to hold on to his position, because he's got two drivers behind him, Marco and King MP. So it looks like we could even see AZR still on for 9 points, which is a good recovery, I'd say, to their evening. You know, reasonably enough is a decent recovery. But it's still not enough. As Hasho now comes into the pits and retires, our one and only retirement of the evening so far, has now just come in, and that is Hasho out. ART suffering another tough evening this season. Still, everything's to play for here in Las Vegas. Coming down to almost our last, a little bit of a slide there for Yannick. Who knows? Anything could happen. Anything could happen. I think we can all agree. Anything could really happen here. We were looking at a sort of a 4 or 5-way fight for the win. But look at this. Jake is starting to break away from Alexander Weigold. He's closing in as well on the top two. He's really waited to get there. But Weigold is now under attack because he's got LWB behind him. He's got LK behind him as well. These two will probably try to get past, so we could even see SEC down to P6 in tonight's race and only to score 8 points. And that is not where they'd like to be. Indeed. I think we're seeing Panos is struggling a little bit. He's falling off just a bit too much. Just a little bit too much in the end. Looking at Marco, he's sat here in an odd position because he can either push, you know, for P11 and take P11, which is probably what he's going to do, and just leave King MP behind. Or is he going to try to pull King MP with him into P11 and drop down Aiden Evans down to P13? I think he's trying to get away with not dragging along the Haas behind him and still making the move on the Sauber in front. Interesting. But I think we're going to have a change for the lead because we just saw Alex O'Shannon's get right up close to Yannick for the lead. Jake is closing in quite a bit. Another half a second this lap he's closed in by, so he might be a late contender to the win. ART could see a possible chance. They do look like they're on for a podium at least, so to double their points this season, save themselves from TTN, who knows? Who knows what they could do, honestly. There's just so much still left to play in this race, even with just 4 laps to go. As we just watch along again. I'm worried about Alexander Weigold. He's dropping time, massive chunks of time. 9/10 behind, same as LWB behind him, but it's just huge chunks of time that he's losing, which isn't great. You can see still sitting around there. Jake hasn't caught on at all. He's actually sitting further behind. Here comes Alex O'Shannon's, though. He feels it's time to attack and take the lead of the race for the first time this evening. But he's just going to stay behind. Jake losing more and more time to the cars in front. He's not catching that much now. LK, by the way, making his way past LWB for position. Pulls Panos back up into that sort of second space. And for SKG, this could be their best race of the season. They scored 50. I can't remember how many points they actually scored. But Panos drops down. He's had a bit of a moment with his internet. He's actually inside of Batiste, not in a weird way. But but he's having some connection problems, which is not helping him at all. Here comes Zettini. He's coming again into the corner. And he's made the move. And up into P8 goes Zettini, another point to OMB. But it's also another point for AZR tonight, because at the moment we can see that it's 2 points for Aiden Evans and 7 points for Baptiste Van Koy. So 9 points still. It doesn't seem to be moving away from that 9 points. While Zettini's trying his best to try to sort of make some moves with 3 laps to go, sort of 2.5 laps left. With 2.5 laps left. This is like the sort of stage of the race where it's like, this is where it gets serious now. You could see that Zettini's pushing a bit more. He's gone easy for the last couple of laps. He's pushing a bit more. Panos is dropping through the order. He's getting connection problems very clearly. But look at this. Zettini, he's going to get in front of LWB. And again, another point gained for OMB. But it's also another point gained for AZR. And that's not what he wants. He doesn't want another point gained. He wants to at least get in front of Baptiste Van Koy. Is he going to do it now? Yes, he is. He goes to the inside. He's using some of that battery. And up into P6 he goes. And this wouldn't be a bad finish, to be honest, for OMB. P2 and P6, 23 points, where they were earlier as well. So it's not the best. It's not where they want it to be. But I think they would honestly still take a decent chunk of these points. Still go to above 150 points. As long as you're above that 150, you're in the good zone. As long as you're above 150, it seems, you're still in that perfect position for championship contention. But now, for Zettini, in some way, all of his sort of money is going to now be on Alex Ashanez to really get on with his job and take the win and gain an extra 3 points, and go from, and gain an extra just 3 points, even just an extra 3, to go to 26. 26 points in this race would be, I think, great for OMB. I think bring them to 157. Just a couple of extra, who knows. But Alexander Weigold has some different ideas. He's going to move up into P3. But Baptiste Van Koy is under a bit of pressure now from others. He's under a lot of pressure because LWB is putting him under a lot of pressure. And now Tallow has come to join the party as well. Tallow's going. Youssef is now retired. Who's going to go next? Round the outside is what Tallow's looking at. Oh! Is that Baptiste who's gone deep? Oh, almost. It looked like he had gone deep. It looked like he had gone very deep there onto the final lap. That looked a bit too close for comfort, I'd say, for Baptiste. But he's down another point. And AZR still taking 9 points. But it's not the 9 points they would have wanted to take. They are still set to go down to third in the Constructors. Actually, down to fourth in the Constructors this evening. So we'll have to wait and see. We've got to look to the leaders because Yannick leads. He's led about 90% of this race. I've barely seen him not leading this race. But now it's all up. Will Alex Ashanez get the exit he needs and be able to close up? He's draining the battery. Who has more battery here? It is slightly higher for Alex Ashanez, so he has got that benefit. You could just see he's draining. He's draining. He's still draining. He's got the DRS. Heading down the back straight. Choosing the outside line. Down into the next corner, side by side. Just in front. Into the chicane. Alex Ashanez takes the lead. He's had a bit of a moment. He's using all of his battery. Everything he's got. He chooses the inside. Coming up to the final corner. Side by side. Alex Ashanez wins in FRLT assists round number 10. Oh my god. That is a close finish. And look at that. Baptiste Van Koy wins by just... Not wins? Takes P7. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. He takes P7 by just 16 thousandths of a second. But a win margin of 79 thousandths of a second. That has to be the closest race I have ever seen in FRLT. That must be the closest race we've ever had. Honestly, no words. Absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable. In the moment that he needed to do it, he did it. He did it, and he did everything he needed to do. And OMB take another win this season. And I think it is very much going to be a quite a last minute but glorious victory and another trophy. Like, unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I have no words for that race at all. You know, just that race is what I call high on emotions. That is literally just what we've just watched. But let's have a look at the grid. It is Altsachanes who wins from third on the grid, followed by Yannick, Jake, Alexander Weigold, LK, Zetany. Then it is Baptiste Van Koy, Talu, LWB, Panos, Marco, King MP, and Aiden Evans ending out the points scorers. Then it is King James, Archer, then the retirements being Youssef and Hasho. Oh my god. I have never seen a race like that. I just have no words. No words at all. I've never seen that. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. We will have lovely interviews as usual. Let me just find the drivers for the interviews. Oh my god. That was a first. I've got to say that was a first for me. I've not. I've just never seen it like that before, like that close. I have just no words for that. I don't even know who's leading the championship. I don't even know. Interesting. I have no words for what we've just seen. No words at all. No words. Oh. I think that was the closest race we've ever had. And it is going to be time for interviews. But, I don't even know what to say after that. Like, so unbelievably close. Just has to be the closest race, especially closest race win we've ever seen. I think our two closest race wins I think most of our closest race wins have actually come from Las Vegas. I think it is actually, they have just come from Las Vegas. I just have no words for how that went. No words. So, who knows? Very interesting. I have no clue. Like, that race was so... I have to say, that race was actually probably the most interesting race we've we've had this season. Especially, I think it was probably the closest race we've had this season across the grid. I think top 10 closest. But outside of that, I don't think there's been one. But we're going to talk to the race winner. So let's pull him in. Hello, Alex. Welcome to the interview box. Congratulations on the victory. How does it feel to win in Las Vegas?
Hello, thanks. I mean, it's a pretty good feeling, to be honest, but I don't think there was an option anything other than winning tonight. So I'm happy with the results. It's quite unfortunate for the team as Zaytan did not have a good race like he thought he would or something, but yeah, it's still a good result for the team.
When it came down to the race, of course, there was sort of quite a few moments where it was a little bit like, ooh. I just want to ask what was happening through sort of turn 1 and turn 2? I saw quite a lot of sliding especially from you, I think the most out of anybody. Was it just tyres or were you just pushing a bit much?
To be honest, it was a skill issue, to be honest, the whole race. I mean, if that didn't happen like throughout the whole race, then I was trying to save tires, but I know I had quite a bit better tires, even with the sliding. So I think I just made it quite difficult for myself, especially with the quali. Like, I was so far off, but the times I can do. So yeah, I was not happy, but I mean, I was, to be honest, the whole race waiting for the last lap because I was debating if I could overtake in lap 24 and then just pull away. To be honest, I think it was the better choice, but I was not sure. So I just waited, and I know I had the tires and the ERS and everything to like outbrake into the last corner, and it quite
On a question for that, do you think the unfortunate crash between I think Hasho and your teammate Zetany, do you think that was the thing that was sort of freed you into having a chance to win? Just being able to just focus on winning instead of having to defend as well?
To be honest, I don't think it matters because I actually think that it cost us, to be honest, because Zetany had really good tires as well. Even though he pitted one lap earlier, it was just unfortunate, to be honest. I don't know what the Alpen was doing. It's just nonsense to do this kind of shit, as it did not help the team at all, to be honest. And yeah, I don't think it matters because like Zaytan would have not attacked me, and we would have been going for a 1-2, not just for a first position.
Well, with that, thank you for joining me for the interviews. It's been great to have you. Yeah. We'll see whether we've got one race to go, and I do have one last question actually. Do you guys feel like the championship is yours going into the final race?
I hope so. I mean, it's Japan. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah.
The confidence overflowing.
Yeah. I think if I'm racing, I'm probably all in for the championships.
Well, with that, thank you for joining, and I wish you the best of luck. And hopefully we'll see you again next week.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So with that is the interviews over and done. And I've got to say, what an interesting race that was, and what an interesting interview. Clearly showing that it's not all about the just winning every single race. It's not just about getting the podiums and the wins and everything you'd want. It's also about your second driver, your teammate. If you can't get your teammate to the position close enough to you, you can still lose the championship. But OMB still proving that they've got great pace, and I believe still scoring, I think, the second highest from tonight, or the highest points finish out of any team tonight. So still a really successful evening for them. But with that is everything for tonight. I hope you have enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a subscribe. I am not sure what I'm even saying anymore. Make sure to subscribe. Also leave a like down below. Also click on the notification bell to know about all the content we do from streams, videos, and shorts. Also make sure to go and follow us on Twitter. The link is down below, and come join our Discord server as well. which the link is also down below in the description. Also, big thanks to our affiliates, Motorsport Connect and VRE, for the help and just for the support they give. Make sure to go and give them a helping hand. Again, the links are down below. But with that, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And we'll be back again for another round at Las Vegas, this time round 10 of no assists. The championship is definitely heating up there between Ventari and SCT, and also the battle over third between OMB and VRE. So with that, thank you so much, and goodbye.
Feel like we're falling away. Maybe I just need to feel nothing to make it easier to turn away and leave. Maybe we're fan and flame. So why do I keep holding out my hand to get burned? I don't wanna clash anymore. I can hear the ghosts in the walls. It's telling me to run away, away, yeah. I don't wanna crash anymore. I can hear the ghosts in the walls. It's telling me to run away.
Here in Monza, and it is a race opening victory for Eve. I'm still battling with Kuba.
You said you don't know me well, but I'm your angel in white. I'll be close if you come. I'll be just behind you. You're not on the list, but I can get you inside. Use your mind, listen to my voices and guide you. You give yourself over, yeah, you don't wanna fight. If you do, I'm gonna let you out.
But he's gone wide! He's going incredible!
Ticket, you're doing alright. And if you don't trust it, hold it up to the light. So quiet, try to hide it. If a new thought formed, we would swallow it down. Empty stares, never question the illusion. If you play alone, they will leave you to drown. Stand up, 'cause we are the movement. Don't stop, straight into the dark. Wake up, 'cause this is the moment. And every fire starts with a spark. A revolution. Stand up. 'Cause we are the movement. Don't stop, straight into the dark. Wake up, 'cause this is the moment. Every fire starts with a spark. A revolution.
Feel like we're falling away. Maybe